Alright guys, Original Gamers here. I'm going to give you my Sylvan deck profile for the TCG form, of course this format. I'm just going to go ahead with the deck list profile. I run 3 Hermitrees. This card is a necessity for the deck in my opinion. I wouldn't run any of those. I see people running, a lot of people running as princesses with the deck. Those are unnecessary. Those are dead draws by themselves also, and you'd rather search this out Flow Fire. You would never go for those princesses. They kind of blow. This card is a dead draw, of course, just like they are, but it is a +1 effect, 2700 beater. It is, and it activates your monster's excavating effects, obviously, and it's so good. The +1, it helps this deck so much. This card is absolutely necessary, at least in 3 before Primal Origins comes out. Afterwards, I mean, you could shrink it down to 2 if you wanted to because of Sage Quia, but as of now, this card is a definite staple in my opinion. Now we're going to go ahead and run, I'm going to show you guys, I run 3 of these Marshall Leaves, Sylvan Marshall Leaves. Card is another staple in this deck. At 3, not only for its monster removal effect, but the fact that it can normal summon and excavate 2 or up to 2. No other Sylvan does that. The highest other one is just excavate 1, and this one does 2. It's 1500 attacker. So it's not that weak. It's a level 3, and it sucks. If this was an Earth, I would run Crane in this deck, but the fact that it's not, I will not run Crane in it because that means I'd have to add in, of course, besides Dandelion, there would be no Earths for Millier, which is the whole reason I run a Crane, so I don't really like Crane in this deck, for the simple fact of I'd have to add unnecessary things to make Crane better. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, a lot of this deck is like staple. There's really no room for tech in this deck at all. There's only like a couple slots for, what you could consider tech. And if you have been paying attention to any of my videos, you know that I'm waiting for my other 2 of these guys because I ordered 3. The guy only sent me 1, and so I'm proxying my weak proxy for my second one. It should be on its way soon, hopefully. But this is your Flower Knight. It's your Searcher. It's an 1800, a beat stick. It sucks. Now, what really sucks about this card is when it's excavated, it only adds, it puts whatever you want on top of your deck, which sucks. Usually I end up searching out the field spell off of him more than anything, which is why I don't think terraforming is really necessary. Although it is faster because it adds it to your hand and this puts it on top of your deck. This could set up excavating plays too from, stacking any Sylvan you want on top of your deck. But generally you'll search out your field spell card if you don't need it. That's not much to say about this guy. The other one that I see a lot of people running, the Blade Fender, I really don't like. I think he sucks. I mean, he may be a 1900 beater, but the fact that you have to run something over to excavate something sucks to me. I'd rather excavate on normal summon. Okay, now Kumashrumo. This is one of my favorite cards. I love the artwork. I think he looks cool as hell. But he's spell and trap removal. He's excavated. He's a 2000 wall, and the fact that he needs to be flip face up makes him too slow. I mean, his excavation effect is probably the best, or the best in the entire deck, because he can go through 5. He can excavate 5 cards. But the simple fact is, it's too slow. You have to set it. Your opponent has to attack into it, or you have to flip it, making it way too slow to run in 3s, in my opinion. Now, 2 is as close as I'm going to get. This is one of my favorite cards, like I said, but the fact that you have to flip summon, or flip it face up, ruins it, in my opinion. But he's still good as a 2 of. I wouldn't go over 2. It would start clogging hands. I've wanted to go to 3, but I know it'll clog hands because you have to set it. You're gonna get, if you get like open with like 2 of these guys or all 3 of them, then you're screwed because you have to set them. So your opponent will run you over before you get enough excavates off to even for it to even matter. Another card that I consider staple in this deck, Peacekeeper. You want 3 of these. These keep your combo going. It's a monster born for level 4 lower plants. Too good not to run. Level 1 status. On top of being able to normal summon and excavate, you can special summon and still excavate with this card. So normal or special, you can excavate 1 card. This is generally what you stack and keep your lone fire plays going. This card is too good not to run. You can monster reborn your anything you need at the time. You can spore, copy plant, your flower knight, Trumo, whatever you need. You can monster reborn. But generally use it to monster reborn this card. Here comes the generic plant engine that everyone will be running if they run a plant engine. Your double lone fire blossom, self-explanatory. Searches out your hermit trees, your dandelion spore, and then I run 1 debris dragon. There's quite a few debris dragon targets, but only like 3 of them can help you make anything because you got your lone fire and your dandelion, so you can make your level 7 synchros, and that's about it there. I've also brought back level 1s to use with the spell card I use that I don't see too many people use, and I'll show you in a bit. Copy plant, I run it at 1. I could see people running this at 2, but I mean, I wouldn't really want to draw it. I really like special summoning off Peacekeeper, a 1-for-1 or something along those lines. But drawing is not too bad either, because the only setback is, like I said, you got a normal summon at 0 attack, so if they affect failure, they can just run through it. I like to special summon it so you can at least special summon a defense just in case it gets effect failure. But you can use its level modulation to go into Felgrand with your Hermit Tree. You can go into a level 8 Synchro or a rank 4 with Flower Knight. You can go into rank 3 or go into a level 6 Synchro with your Martial Leaf. This card is really, really good. If you haven't tried this card out, I definitely recommend it. I don't see a lot of people running it, and I feel this card is another staple in my opinion. I love it so much. Alright, and then going on to spells, I run triple Mount Sylvania. This card is necessary because a lot of the cards, it helps you stack so that you can get your excavates up properly without blind excavating stuff. So it helps the deck's overall consistency, keeps +1s rolling with your Hermit Tree, and it will also excavate at your opponent's end phase also. And if it's a spell or trap, you can actually pick on, if it's not a Sylvan or plant card that gets excavated, you can choose whether it stays on the top or goes on the bottom, so you can almost dictate what you draw, for that turn. If you don't feel that card's necessary, you can put it on the bottom. It helps just consistency. I can definitely see people running Terraforming just to get this card faster. Gets the dead cards, dead Hermit Trees out of your hand. It's one of the only ways this deck has to get Hermit Tree out of your hand. Like I said, really good card, staple at 3. It may change later, but as of now, I don't see it changing. It'll definitely be a staple at 3. 1-for-1. Some people may consider this a staple, but the fact that it's a -1 may steer a lot of people away from this card. But it can search out your Peacekeeper, which can get an excavate, like I said, because it goes off special summon as well as normal summon. And you can get your spore, your copy plant, so it's really good. 1-for-1, it does what it does. There's not much to say about it. It's got Foolish Burial. Generally, I like to keep this card in my hand till there's a point in the game to where I actually need a certain monster in the graveyard. So, because depending on what you have in your hand, you may not even want to use this yet. Like if you draw Miracle Fertilizer, you may want to Foolish Bury your Hermit Tree. You got, if you got your hand set up a certain way, you might want. It just depends on what you have on the field, what you want to Foolish Burial. I consider it a staple-ish card right now. 3 Miracle Fertilizer. This is another card I don't see a lot of people running, at least on YouTube. This card wins you games. It keeps your. This is another reason why you want to get your Hermit Trees in your graveyard as fast as possible. I I base my deck around getting a Hermitry and spamming them as fast as possible, not only to get +1s, but to set up later for this card, because this card helps you in the grind games, makes all your rank 8s, or any rank monster plays that you do costless. It just keeps bringing your beaters back. It's very, very, very good. This is another card I consider staple in this deck. Okay, this is the card I was talking about, Super Solar Nutrient. I don't see really any YouTuber running this card at all. As long as you get a level 1, you can normal summon your Peacekeeper, get your Excavate, play this card, tribute it, grab Lone Fire Blossom, tribute that to get your Hermitry, then Excavate. If you stacked, you get an additional plus off your +1 draw already. Card's too good. It generally just helps you search out your Lone Fire Blossom for those plays. But if you tribute a level 1 for its effect, you can get a level 1 through 4, and if it's a level 2, you can get a level 2 through 5. I believe that's how it works. It's just a consistency card. I wouldn't run any more than 2. Any less, you probably wouldn't see it, so 2 is the perfect number, to me anyway. Might be, I consider this kind of a staple in my opinion, because it helps you dig for that Lone Fire Blossom, which is detrimental to a lot of your big plays. Although it does fail to set MST because it's a continuous spell. Okay, now going on. Triple MST, this deck fails hard to back row. Very, very hard. And also, games 2 and 3, people like deciding, their D-Fishers, macros, Soul Drains, and this card helps get rid of those problem cards. And I was running a full trap build. Like, I had the 4 staple traps in it, plus my Phoenix Chains and Book of Moon, but I decided to go drop those and try out Triple Forbidden Lance, because this deck, like I said, is fails to back road pretty hard, and the only other deck that I can try to explain how hard it fails to is if you play or seen Noble Knights play, they're very dependent on their normal summons and stuff for their plays to get going, and they run 3 Lance 2 usually. And it's been working very well because it lets all your plays go through unhindered, because most players depend on that back row to stop your plays, and Course Effect Failure has lost popularity, and it's mostly Phoenix Chain now, and lands can stop that. Book of Moon, let your monster's effects go off still if you Book of Moon them. It's also, like I said, it's a really good trap card in the form of a spell. Dark Pool, and the only 3 trap cards I run in the deck, the last bit of back row, is my 3 Phoenix Chains. It's not only does it stop effects to keep your opponent from doing any plays, it also stops them from attacking, which is also good for you to set up your field and your plays. Okay, now going on to my extra deck. I run 1 Formula Synchron. You can make this very easily. It gives you a nice draw. Also, you can even use it in your opponent's turn for its other effect that a lot of people forget about. During your opponent's main phase, you can synchro this card and some other card on your side of the field to make a synchro monster. So usually, you can Black Rose, but I have made more than Black Rose. I made other synchros, so like you can go HGS Syhemoth and ruin a play because they won't want to attack through it, because then they'll lose their monster. I've made Leo the Protector of the Sacred Trees, I think he's called, a 3100 beater against Dark Worlds, and of course their graph only gets as big as 3000, so it ruined their play. I mean, it just depends, but this card is really, really good. I play 1 Armades. I think he's better than Catastor. That's the only reason I'm really running him over Catastor. Stops anything that happens in the battle phase. It's really, really good. And I run TG Hyper Librarian. I might take this card out for additional rank 4 or 3, or maybe even another rank 8. I haven't made up my mind yet because this deck doesn't spam synchros like I figured it might. And this may come out. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. For a 6, I run HTS Syhemoth. Good monster removal. Black Rose. I run Ancient Fairy Dragon. Card's really good for its 3000 ass, and it can help you search through your deck for field cards and even ruin Gravekeeper's Days if you have any of those at your locals. or wherever you're playing. Crimson Blader stops all high-level decks. Can even lock you down, so you're going to want to watch out for this card also. Scrap Dragon, Stardust, Leo the Keeper of the Sacred Trees. If you haven't attempted this card in any deck, you should try it out. This card is really, really good. Star Eater, because you can make Star Eater really easy in this deck. Mech-equipped Engineer. There's a play where you can get this and Felgrand on the field. It's the only reason I'm running this over top of something like Temtempo to ruin like Ophion's Day. This card may come out for Temtempo still, but because the play doesn't come around very often, but when it does and you get this and Felgrand on the field, it's usually GG, or especially if you got it backed up by like a Phoenix Chain, Lance, or Book of Moon, or any variation of those. Usually spells defeat for your opponent, or it gives them an extremely hard time to get around. Maestroke, Ophion Killer, Staller, Book of Moon. Felgrand wins games. This card is amazing in this deck. You can make it. You can make this. You can make this in first turn. This card right here, and it's really, really hard for your opponent to get over, especially if you're protecting with Phoenix Chain, Lance, Book of Moon. Like I said, it makes for a hard time for your opponent. And of course, the LCA, the Sylvan High Protector. It's got a 3200 butt and a 2300 attacker. It's kind of weak attack. I won't read its effect. You can always look it up if you want to. You can probably read it a little bit from here if you pause the video, but yeah, I'm not going to read it. If you guys want to see any combos, you can ask me about them, or I might do a video on it if enough people ask. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any of them. You can also flame my deck, tell me what I should be running or what I shouldn't be running, and like I said, I'll be happy to answer better. And Original Gamers out. That's all I have to say, guys. You guys have a nice day.